If you're a leaseholder, you may receive something called a Section 20 notice. This is a type of document you'll be sent when we plan to carry out works to your building that will cost more than £250 per leaseholder. You might also be sent one if the council plans to enter into a contract with someone to supply a service for 12 months or longer that might affect your building in the future. Section 20 refers to Section 20 of the Landlord and Tenant Act from 1985. This is a piece of government legislation that sets out the rules on the relationship between freeholders and leaseholders. Section 20 of the Act sets out rules on how Lambeth Council, as a freeholder, has to consult with leaseholders. There are several different types of Section 20 notice, but they all have some things in common. They all give you 30 days in which to submit your comments to us in writing on the works or services we're proposing. We'll respond to your comments within 21 days. All notices will also invite you to inspect documents we hold relating to the works or services. The first type of Section 20 consultation happens when the council propose to enter into something called a qualifying long-term agreement, or QLTA. This is when we propose to enter into a contract with a contractor or supplier for a period of 12 months or more, to provide a service which might affect your home, and when the estimated cost is likely to be £100 or more per leaseholder during any accounting period. This could include many different types of service, like a lift maintenance contract, building insurance, or a contract to provide construction services. This doesn't necessarily mean that any work will be carried out on your home, but we'll give you a chance to comment on the proposals. We typically enter into QLTAs every 5 to 7 years, though they can be shorter. So if you're a new leaseholder, there may be many QLTAs relating to your property that are already in place. In some cases, when we propose to enter into a new QLTA, we'll give you the opportunity to nominate a service provider, but this depends on the service value. If the value of the contract is below the procurement threshold, you'll be invited to nominate a contractor. This is called a Schedule 1 notice. You'll receive a notice of intention. This will tell you what works the proposed long-term agreement will cover and will give you the opportunity to nominate a contractor. You'll then get a notice of proposal. This will inform you about the tenders we have received from different contractors. And finally, you'll get a notice of award. This will inform you which contractor was chosen and why. You'll only get a notice of award if we did not choose the lowest price tender or nominated contractor. If the value of the contract is above the procurement threshold, you won't have the opportunity to nominate a contractor. This is called a Schedule 2 notice. In this case, you'll receive, firstly, a notice of intention, which will tell you what works the proposed long-term agreement will cover, and then you'll receive a notice of proposal. This tells you that we've carried out the tendering process and have chosen a contractor to award to. Remember that you'll get 30 days to comment on each stage of the process. The other main type of Section 20 consultation is when we plan to carry out major works, also known as qualifying works, to your building, and the estimated cost of the works will be more than £250 for any leaseholder. This could include anything from repairing a roof to replacing windows in your building to replacing communal heating pipes. In some cases, we'll give you the opportunity to nominate a contractor to carry out the works. Again, this depends on the work's total value. You won't be able to nominate for some higher value contracts. If we're carrying out the works under an existing long-term agreement and you've already been sent a Schedule 1 or Schedule 2 notice, then you'll firstly receive a notice of intention. This will tell you what works we're planning under the agreement and why they're necessary. It will also give you an estimated cost of the works and your estimated share of the cost. Remember that if you've recently bought your property, there will probably already be some long-term agreements in place. If we're not carrying out the works under a long-term agreement, then we'll be getting tenders from contractors to carry out the work. If the value of the contract is above the procurement threshold, you won't be able to nominate a contractor. You'll receive the following documents. You'll firstly get a notice of intention, which tells you what works we are planning and why they're necessary. Then you'll get a notice of proposal, which gives details of the tenders we have received and a summary of the observations sent to us at the previous stage. If the value of the contract is below the procurement threshold, then you'll be invited to nominate a contractor to carry out the work. You'll receive the following documents. Firstly, a notice of intention, which tells you what works are being planned and invites you to nominate a contractor. Then you'll get a notice of estimates, which gives details of the estimates we've received. Finally, you'll get a notice of award, which will tell you which contractor was awarded the contract and why. Again, you'll only get a notice of award if we haven't chosen the lowest tender. And as always, you'll get 30 days to comment on each stage of the process.